What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and we have our semifinalists. Now, I didn't call it as well as I did for the round of 16, but I'm honestly glad that I didn't because I thought back on all of my picks that I said in the last video, and I'm like, man, that would suck to have Brazil, Argentina, and Portugal all still left in the tournament because I don't like any of those three teams. So I would only be rooting for France. I am glad that there were some mix-ups, a little bit of upsets, just because it does make it more fun for me personally. So I don't have to watch, Argentina and, well, Brazil, Portugal. I don't have to watch all three of those teams. I only have to watch Argentina, and they do have their own problems, but we'll get to that. Starting off though with Croatia versus Brazil, big result for Croatia, and they managed the game very well. It was not, I don't know. It was a little bit of back and forth. Each team's coming up with some good chances, and Croatia did a good job of managing the game in that respect. And even though it looked like Brazil had turned it around on them in extra time, it was nice to see that they got the fight back to take it all the way to penalties and beat them there. So, yeah, for Croatia, they're showing what a good team they are and how experienced they are when it comes to tournaments. Because I think that's one thing Brazil sort of lacks right now. They have a good bit of talent. They play well as a team. And in my opinion, talent wise across the field, they were probably the best team. But I don't think they have that tournament experience to know when to, I guess, when to press, when to stay back, when to conserve your energy, and when to really push for it. Because they really haven't been, as far as I can remember, they haven't been doing that well in tournaments for a while. Obviously they used to win it all the time, but recently I feel like they've not been the same powerhouse, which means they haven't been having the same experience in the tournaments. Croatia, recently at least, has been a lot more involved. Making it. I'm pretty sure they were finalists against France in the last World Cup, and in the past few Euros they've done pretty well too. So they're a team that they don't have the most talent on the field, but they have some talent and they know how to conserve their energy and when to push. And I think that's what made them the better team on the day. So well deserved from them. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of Brazil, so I don't mind seeing them go out. They too many players, mainly in the attack, that I'm not a fan of. So, and then you get to the Netherlands Argentina game, and this one was really frustrating to watch, just because very unprofessional. A bunch of children on the field, basically. You got tackles coming in that are stupid, and then you have reactions that are ridiculous. And of course, the media loves it. So that's my entire Facebook page this morning was being filled with articles about, oh, did you see how Van Dijk, knocked that guy down? Oh, did you see, this Argentinian player did this? Oh my goodness, isn't that hilarious? Like, we're glorifying these people, and that's essentially what our society is becoming, just around the world. We glorify stupid stuff like that. We glorify idiots. You want to go out there and act a fool, get into fights? Yeah, we love that. And why? Why do we love that? Why do we love violence from people who should be smarter, should be more professional? Why do we love that so much? I've coached kids before, and I'm probably going to in the future as well. And I can't stand the fact that a lot of these kids are growing up and this is what's getting glorified. This is what's getting brought up and shown all over Facebook, and they're growing up thinking, haha, that's awesome. I'm going to go do that when I go play. Just, do people not realize the problems this creates? Because, so many people, you look in the comments, so many people bashing the other side, Netherlands saying, oh, look at those Argentinians, they're so unclass, all that stuff, and Argentina's like, oh, look at Netherlands, they were taunting us and they got what was coming to them. Just, you guys are both idiots. You guys are both in the wrong. You're both acting like children. Grow up, And that's coming from a guy who still plays video games and still loves feeling like a kid at times. But it's one thing to feel like a kid, it's another thing to act childish, and that was acting childish. So, as far as, Argentina going through, whatever, not really a big fan of Netherlands either, so either team going through, I wasn't gonna like. But I think it did show, once again, Netherlands, they haven't really had much of a challenge in this tournament so far, and the first team that they hit that is a challenge, look at what happens. They did manage to fight back in the end, and a lot of that was down to the mind games that they were playing. So I know people will point that out and say, well, look, they got under Argentina's skin and look what happened. Argentina fell apart at the end. Yes, but at the same time, I feel like that part of the game is the part that most people don't like. If you're a fan of the team, then you'll probably applaud it. I think about like you look at they're trying to think of a good example, like Mourinho. When Mourinho's at your club, you love him because he's constantly, needling the other team, doing little things, poking little holes, and it helps your team. And you're thinking, cool, that's awesome. But then you're going up against him, and you see all these little things he's doing for the other team now, and now you hate him because he's a total jerk. So I get the idea of competition and wanting to try to get an edge up on your opponent, but I feel like there's better ways and definitely more professional ways to do it rather than we're just going to taunt you, we're going to talk smack, we're going to do all this stuff to try to get a leg up over you because it doesn't look good for you. Even if it does work, you look like idiots. You look like jerks. So, but yeah, definitely in my opinion, the worst match in the tournament. And it's a shame because it was a good match overall. Like you look at what happened on the field, some of the great play that was involved, and again the exciting drama of a last minute equalizer. So that was all exciting, but then all of the stupid stuff that came with it just really brought the game down, in my opinion. So as far as those two teams though, Croatia and Argentina going up against each other, this is going to be an interesting one to watch because I, as good as I think Croatia can be at times, I didn't think they had enough in them to overtake Brazil, but then they showed they did. So knowing that, it does sort of feel like they have that again, the experience in the tournament. They know how to compose themselves in a way that will get them to the next round. I think they have enough to get past Argentina. And it's going to be a close one because again, Argentina showed they have a lot of quality as well, and they have a lot of fight and grit and desire. So they can find that little bit of energy that they need, but they also showed they were mentally weak at the end as well, giving away those two equalizing goals. And I think that's something that Croatia can use to their advantage, knowing that they don't really see out games very well. Honestly, against Australia too, they nearly gave that one away. So that's something Croatia will probably look to exploit if they can hold on, if they can basically pack it in and keep Argentina at bay until the second half. I think they can really use that and turn it around on them and really take the second half and go on and win it comfortably. So, personally, I would like to see Croatia win too, so I wouldn't mind that. On to the next set of matches, though. Morocco. Wow. I mean, for me, the story of the tournament is Morocco, and they showed today what a good team can look like. You really look at Portugal and what they have, the attacking quality that they have, some of the defensive quality they have. Portugal looked the better team. But the problem is they're all playing like a bunch of individuals. They're all playing, trying to do things on their own. João Felix, great player, had some great shots, but he's trying to do it all on his own. Morocco played as a team. They defended well, they packed it in, and then they hit on the counterattack, and it worked for them. They had the better strategy. So Morocco, in my opinion, is now kind of the neutral favorite team, more than likely. If you don't have a team in this fight, if you don't have anybody that you're really supporting or anybody that you don't want to win, more than likely you're going to say, come on, Morocco, go get them. Because it's just exciting to see a team that really has no business being here. If you look at, again, the players on their team, you don't really think, oh yeah, they've got a chance to win it. And yet here they are in the semis. It's a really, really good feeling for, again, the neutral, the player, or the people that just love watching the sport, love a good underdog story. Morocco is it. And they've done a really good job so far. Played the game again very well against Portugal, managed to get that one goal, and that's all they needed. And they defended so well for the rest of it. Bono again making some fantastic saves and again raising his price tag for Sevilla. If they want to get rid of him, they're going to be able to make a good bit of money off of him. So honestly, I haven't really seen much of the playing with his feet. I hope Chelsea are looking at him. Because I know, obviously Mendy and Kepa, possibility that they're not coming back. So wouldn't mind if we went and got Bono because he's a good shot stopper, definitely. And I know playing with his feet is kind of the first thing that they look at since all of the managers that we bring in want to play through our defense and through the keeper. But yeah, I mean, he had some great saves. The defense looked really solid again. And the attack, they move the ball so quickly down the field and they can catch you off guard so well. So yeah, I think it was a good game. In Portugal, they didn't necessarily play poorly. Again, it was just too many moments of individuals trying to do it all on their own or trying to put in that one great cross instead of trying to maybe work the ball around a little bit more and make Morocco defend a bit better. It was just a very, very simple game, I think, for Morocco to defend against. And again, Bono coming up with some great saves on top of it. So, France and England. This one I didn't really watch as much just because I was distracted doing some other things, but I had it on in the background. Um, I was sort of keeping an eye on it. It seemed like a very good game, a very even game. Teams sort of going back and forth. From what I haven't actually watched the clips, but some of the reactions that I've seen, which isn't too surprising because I follow a lot of English media outlets, so this could all be BS. But I was seeing a lot of moments of, could that have been a penalty? I know the one in the second half, the second one that Kane missed. That one I thought, what is the referee watching? Because the fact that he had to go to VAR, I watched it live and I thought, you just shoulder into the back of Mount. I mean, that's a foul. That's a penalty. That should be obvious. So maybe there were some other moments where it could have been a penalty. If depending on your point of view, depending on if you're an England fan or a France fan, I'll have to look at those in bigger detail. But the fact of it is England had a chance to tie it up. Now, this comes down to kind of what is your opinion on penalties. Do you let your main penalty taker, do you let him take two in one game? Because most of the time, people don't really question that. It's like, of course you do. But I've always been of the opinion that you don't, because for the person taking the penalty, there's way too many thoughts going on inside their head. I went this way the first time. Should I go that same way? But he knows that I went that way the first time, so maybe I should go that way. But then he might think that, and he went that way the first time, so maybe I should just keep going this. There's too many thoughts about which way to go after you've taken that first penalty that your focus is there instead of striking the ball well, and that's what happened. Too many thoughts there, and he strikes it completely awful, and it's up and out of the stadium. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird feeling to think you don't let your main penalty taker take one, but at the same time, especially in a high stakes game like this where you're already down a goal, you need another one to equalize, you probably should have let somebody else take it just to be completely safe. Manage to get that goal and then look into extra time and penalties after that. But they didn't do that. They let Kane take another one. He missed it, and they couldn't find that equalizing goal. France, from what I saw, they played pretty well. They had some of the better chances, I thought, in the first half, but then England stepped it up second half. Looked like they had some of the better chances. So overall, like I said, pretty even game. So it comes down to those moments of mistakes or great plays, and in this instance, it was a mistake from Kane. So for England, it'll be disappointing. Obviously, a lot of the English fans still want it to come home, and from somebody who, I kind of find it funny whenever people who talk all a big game and they act like, oh yeah, it's coming home, it's definitely coming home, and they do this every time and it never does. From that point of view, it is kind of funny, but at the same time, it is kind of sad for some of the Chelsea players on there. For France, they were one of the favorites coming in. There is that whole champions typically don't do well the next World Cup, so they're kind of putting all of those, I guess, not doubts, but curses, ideas to bed that the champions can't do well two times in a row. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have our first back-to-back champion in I don't remember how many years, but France and Morocco, next match, going to be an interesting one. France definitely looked the better team on paper, but so did Portugal, so did Spain. I mean, they've already toppled two European heavyweights. So can they do it again with France? I don't know. I mean, the more that they play and the longer this tournament goes, the more that you're going to see their legs start to give out. I mean, we already saw it in this match. There are a few players that they managed to hold out the full 90 in the first match, but now they're starting to go down. They're starting to look like they're cramping a bit more. So it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult to keep up this level of play that we've seen into the next match. And if they manage to win into the final, and if not, then into the third place match, I don't know. But again, they're just such an exciting team to watch because you really feel like they're going to give it their all. And even if they lose, they're still going to go out fighting. And that's something that I feel like I really enjoy from a neutral point of view. I like the teams that even if they are going to lose, you're going to know you were in a game with them. I thought the same thing about Japan before they unfortunately went out. So, yeah, that's kind of all of my thoughts. It was a little bit of a quicker one, but yeah, it's not as many games to talk about anymore. We're getting down to the thick of it. Even though all this controversy with FIFA and all of this stuff, I've still had a pretty good time with this World Cup, and I feel like for the most part they've done a good job of entertaining us, the players, the coaches, all of that. Just hope that we don't have to deal with too much more of the stupidity and the childish stuff, but we probably will, because again, that's what people like to see. So anyways, that's all from me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these games? Let me know, we can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future World Cup reviews. I'll see you guys at the semifinals. Peace out.